And welcome back to Real Talk Sports with Rico. Today I'll be your host. Today we're talking about the Summer League and then this Jaylen Brown not on Team USA. So I'll jump right into it. And initially my thoughts are, yes, he absolutely got snubbed. And I think that when you look at Jaylen Brown and you look at what he's able to do on the court, he's able to bring some offense. He's able to defend as well. And I think that, Jaylen Brown is the type of guy that, having played with Jason Tatum, I think he knows how to go ahead and not necessarily dominate on offense, but still be an effective player for the team. So I think that absolutely he could have done a lot of what Derek White is going to do, which a lot of people have said he's just going to kind of come in and kind of do the dirty work. I think that Jaylen Brown could absolutely have done that. And I think that when you look at the Olympic team and the way it is set up, guys, that it's not necessarily about stats. Nobody cares that, hey, Kevin Durant averaged 30 points or LeBron, he only got 8 or, whatever. The only thing that matters in the Olympic play is that the team advances and that the team wins. And I think that, Jaylen Brown certainly should have been on this team. And I think that he absolutely was snubbed. And I think that the biggest question now that I am going to have is this going to turn into a situation for the Boston Celtics when the season starts? Okay, because I think that, you could probably say statistically, not probably, statistically that Jaylen Brown is the better player between Derek White. I think just if you just look at the stats, Google it, you'll see that Jaylen Brown is the better player. But now I think, and it's not that it's Derek White's fault, but, it just makes you wonder, is this going to kind of brew over a little bit into the camp, right? Like, what is Derek White's thought about this? Is he's taking this a little bit personal, right? Because I think that a lot of people are saying, hey, you're not as good as Jaylen Brown. Does he take it a little personal? So I'm curious to see, how the Celtics are going to handle this, because look, there are 3 Celtics on this roster, and Jaylen Brown is not that guy. And for the people out there that go, hey, Derek White is a guy that he's going to do the dirty work and everything else. Well, they invited Kawhi Leonard out there, and I'm not saying that Kawhi is necessarily going to do that, but he's known a little bit more, just for being an all-around player. So, I'm just kind of not necessarily buying that. And then plus two, I have to love, I think, what Chris Broussard and those guys had to say on their podcast. Like, you could have thrown Jalen Brunson out there, Donovan Mitchell. There's some other names that could have come up here. So I think that this is definitely a snub. Unfortunate for Jaylen Brown, but I think Team USA is going to be fine. But it's a tough situation. I hope that Jaylen Brown does get back to the Olympics, and I hope he does a lot more winning in his career. Certainly have enjoyed watching him play. Next up, guys, let's talk about the NBA Summer League, guys. And so, I'm always looking forward to the NBA Summer League. You get a chance to see what these rookies could possibly look like for your NBA roster. And we're going to bring up, the big scoreboard and just talk loosely about some of the games, that took place and some of the bigger names that I think were out there. And so let's go ahead and bring up the big board. Let's start off with the Bucks and Bulls yesterday, starting with Adama Sanogo. I thought that he was terrific. 17 points, 12 rebounds. The Chicago Bulls are looking for a center. I've said countless times that I think that this guy is going to crack the rotation for the Chicago Bulls, and he might actually be a star in the making. He's currently just signed a 2-way deal. I'm glad that they brought him back, but I think that he had a terrific game. And it's not that he does one thing great, but he has some great hands as far as catching the basketball. He's terrific at getting to spots on the floor. And there were several times that his rebounds turned into points. He was +3 on the box score if you're looking at that. But I'm more impressed with the fact that he was 5 of 6 from the free throw line. So you are not going to hack a shack with this guy. So I do love that. But much is made about Modest Buzelis. I think that he was terrific in his opener, even though he was 4 of 15 from the field, 0 of 4 from downtown, 7 of 11 from the free throw line. That was critical. He showed us that He could go out there, he could draw fouls at a high rate. I would like to see him make a lot more free throws. I think a lot of that had to do with nerves, but the 7 rebounds, I love that. The 15 points, the 0 of 4 is really a testament of, I think, what is a question mark about Modest Bazelis, and that is, can he shoot the basketball? I love the fact that he tried, he went for it. And the one thing that I had said after the game is that he does not have a broke jump shot. Like, it doesn't look terrible. I think it's just going to take some confidence and just a little bit more work and just him being comfortable with it. So I think that that's something that I'm looking for him to show in tonight's game against the Golden State Warriors. But I thought that he did a fabulous job. And I think that Julian Phillips, he played absolutely wonderful coming off the foot injury that he had last season. I think he checked a lot of boxes for Chicago Bulls fans, showed us that he could defend, showed us that he could knock down some jumpers, and he could pretty much be all over the place. 17 points. He had 10 rebounds. I think he had the highest vertical in last year's NBA draft class. So certainly he looked good. With the Bucks, I got to give it to them. I mean, the Bucks and the guard, AJ Johnson, coming over here. I think he played in Australia a year ago. And I thought that a lot of people said that, hey, it was a reach to bring him over, but I thought he looked pretty good. 13 points. I mean, he was 5 of 15. He can absolutely shoot the basketball. He's going to have to grow a little bit more into his NBA body, but I think that he looked good as far as shooting the ball. He didn't back down, and I thought he did a great job handling the physicality thus far. So those were a couple takeaways here. And then I also like Tyler Smith that you see right here for the Bucks. 20 minutes, 5 of 10 from the field. But more importantly, he showed us that he was a three-point shooter that we saw in the G League Ignite, excuse me. And he showed us that he can shoot the ball, but he is going to struggle a bit with the lateral quickness. I think that that's something that he's going to have to work on. He did go out there and get 6 rebounds and found a way to be a plus in the box score. That's always a good thing, guys. And so moving forward, guys, the Hornets and the Knicks game. Nick Smith Jr. is a guy that I've been high on for the Hornets. I loved his game. I've got a couple collectibles of Nick Smith Jr., but I think that he just needs to get some time. All right. A terrific guard out of Arkansas, scored 24 points, +6 in the box score. Really shows that he can, do it in all facets of the game. He's a 3-level scorer, a bit undersized, but I think that there is a role for him. It's just the matter of the Hornets playing him. Brandon Miller looked a lot more comfortable, I think, yesterday than he did in last year's Summer League when I watched him there. 23 points. He was 5 of 10 from downtown. That was his MO coming out of college, is he could shoot the basketball. 7 of 16 from the field, so he looked pretty good. So I like that. And then I love the fact that they have Simpson over here at the guard position. All right. Like, I think that he was a terrific pickup for them. 15 points for him. I think that you see that he makes a lot of winning plays, 10 assists as well. So I like the fact that the Hornets did pick him up. So, those are some notables here of, with the Knicks and the Hornets. Shout out to Obi Toppin's brother, playing pretty well, 19 points for him. And shout out for the Knicks in general. I think that aside from the Summer League, I think the one thing that you're looking at with them is just what has taken place with what they've done in free agency, going out there and getting Mikal Bridges to come over, the sacrifice that Jalen Brunson has made, and giving up some years and also giving up some finances so that they could get this thing to work. I think that that's huge for the Knicks. So anything that they can get out of their Summer League, I think, is going to be a plus, but they're going to be right there in the Eastern Conference. Moving forward, Heat, Celtics. Huge on Jaime Jaquez, 29 points and 11 rebounds. We know he can play. Loved everything that he does. Watched a lot of his UCLA games. Watched him play in the Drew League as well. So, but another guy that I really wanted to see was Khalil Ware, their center here for the Miami Heat. Really high on him. I had him drafted had him high, on my draft board, but 17 points, only 3 rebounds, but the way that he plays and the fact that they question his motor is ludicrous, because I have not seen that in Summer League play thus far. I think he has a real chance of being out there. I loved what I think it's Keldon Johnson, 10 points here. He played for, I think, was it Yes. No. San Antonio. No. It was gosh, I'll think of it. It was San Diego State, excuse me. Yes, I couldn't think of it. San Diego State. He played for San Diego State, and he was on their Final Four team a couple seasons ago. But the fact that he came in with a lot of energy, 10 points, he had the 5 rebounds. He's an undersized forward, but he played extremely well. But he did play at San Diego State. I could not get that out. But yeah, looked pretty good. Talked about Jaime Jaquez and what he did. Josh Christopher was a former first-round pick, looked pretty good. He's looked pretty good in a couple summer league appearances, but hopefully he gets a chance to crack the rotation. The Celtics, they looked pretty good for the most part. I did like what they got from Springer. I think that he was good. I've liked that they have Sherman coming over. I think he played for Doug McDermott's father in college there, and he looked pretty good. His shots, he looked like he was pretty efficient for the most part. 13 points for him, a -7 in the box score, but I was more impressed with the way he was able to move without the basketball. So he did a great job, and he played for Doug McDermott's father at Creighton. So yeah, that's Sherman. So next up, guys, moving forward, the Pistons and 76ers. Bobby Kidman. All right. Here's a guy that I thought he was a pretty good prospect. I thought he was going to be a pretty good small forward. One that I was hoping that the Chicago Bulls might get. 13 points showed that he could go out there and distribute the basketball pretty well. 5 assists, 5 rebounds. So I enjoyed looking at that. But more importantly, I like that Detroit went out and got Ron Holland II. He was the teammate of Modest Buzelis and Tyler Smith. 15 points. I think he did a great job as far as filling the stat sheet. So I think him and Azor Thompson are going to be incredible together. And I think that the Pistons, they're really starting to build something here. I know that they were one of the worst teams in the NBA. Hopefully they can put it together, but very impressed with what they were able to do. 76ers, I think a lot of their focus has probably been on what they have signed with Paul George coming over here, Tyrese Maxey. They got Kelly Oubre over there, and they've got Martin coming over from Miami. So I think that that's probably been really the focal point, I would say, for the 76ers guys. And so, moving forward, a couple of other teams or names, I should say, that stood out for me, going over here to the Portland Trailblazers and the Spurs game. Much was made with Portland and this whole situation with Donovan Clegan. And I thought that Donovan Clegan was not as comfortable in his debut. And I think that this goes into what I was talking about with Donovan Clegan. I think that he's going to need very good guard play in order for him to be successful. He was -16 in the box score, had 5 blocks. He did have 5 personal fouls. He did have 13 boards, but he was 0 of 3 from downtown. He's 1 of 8 from the field, only 2 of 4 from the free throw line. I think he really struggled mightily. And I think that, just some better guard play is really what's going to be the key to unlock him. Like what Steven Castle showed me with the Spurs, he showed me that he's a little bit more of a playmaker / point guard. Which I think is critical for them because I know that Chris Paul is not going to be there for the long haul necessarily. So, I like that as far as what he showed in his debut with the Spurs guys. And so, with that being said, for the most part, that is some of the summer league performances that I wanted to take a look at. Shout out to Cody Williams of the Jazz. I think that he played phenomenal yesterday for the Jazz. I think he looked a lot better than what he looked in his debut out there in Utah in that particular league that they have, because it's a league before you get to the Vegas Summer League. So he looked pretty good. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Is there a player that has really stood out in the Summer League? I know the one player that everybody seems to be continuing to talk about is Bronny James. He's really struggled, I think, over his last couple games out there. And I think that, his shot doesn't look terrible. I think that it just comes down to confidence. But I think a lot of people really are not giving Dalton Connect a lot of his pub, because I think that Dalton Connect has played fabulous out there. And I think that he's ready to go right now, and I think you could plug him into their rotation. But let me know what you guys are thinking. Appreciate the fans out there who have chimed in on a week-to-week basis and listen to the show. Appreciate you guys listening to me ramble on, even when I'm trying to figure out where a guy played at. That's Keldon Johnson at San Diego State. So, guys, keep listening to the show. You can catch us on YouTube under Real Talk Sports with Rico, and I appreciate the sponsors out there who put sponsorship on this thing. I'll see you guys on the next one. Be talking a little bit more Summer League, and we will start to talk about the NFL as camps are beginning to open up, guys. All right, peace. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, 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 peace.